Alright, this is a tier 15. I vaulted. Unfortunately, I got rid of just all the positive. It's now just suffixes. We'll do Vault Factory. See what it looks like on the boss. And then go from there. Still don't know why this place gets so empty feeling. This is also, mind you, with 51% elemental resistances on the the mercenary doesn't like zealots. Oh, map complete. All right, we're done. Hey, welcome back. Hope everybody's having fun, enjoying the game. Again, I'm ready to move on to a new build. However, this is what I've pretty much ended with. I will tell you this. There are better builds. There are other ways of doing this. There are ways of doing this without weapon swap, which might be beneficial because you won't have to get 2 crossbows. On top of that, I only ended up using 2 points total for the weapon swap. So again, I think this is it's a functional build, but you know, I'm not a builder, and I make sure to highlight that everywhere. So I'm just basically going to go through and say what I've done to my build, and if any of this stuff influences you or maybe impacts your own builds or piques your interest, go right ahead. I did make a Maxroll planner. It's not public. I'm not going to make it public because there's no reason. Because I'm not going to just put a build like mine up there. People expect one-shot bosses and that kind of stuff. Otherwise, they rate that stuff down anyway. So I'll just go ahead and I'll link you the I'll link it to you in the description below, and then I'll go over that only in this video. So instead of going through a whole bunch of stuff, we'll just go through it here to make it a lot cleaner. So the builds, uh, talent tree didn't really change, the passive skill tree. I kind of trimmed off some stuff. I got rid of the attack speed over here. Accuracy wasn't a problem anymore. These are just the 2 points that I used. You could probably find a better spot for those 2 points. You may be able to figure out a better way of doing this. I just wanted to make sure that there was some fire pen for the explosive shot, and that's the only reason that I put these 2 points in. The whole idea was to make the weapon swap faster. You know, swapping to your offhand or swapping to your sidearm is faster. But I think ultimately you don't need to do that. However, I also took the star wheel down here. This gives us a lot of damage. We have about 100 intellect. You could probably get that a lot higher. Again, my gear is not optimal, so take it with a grain of salt. We did get the herald stuff over here just to get the reservation down. We have spirit on the amulet. I'm sorry, we have spirit on the chest. That way I can fit a bunch of skills in here. For a couple of days now, I've been using Wind Dancer and Overwhelming Presence. I was saying that in my last video, I'd like to get those fit in, but I finally was able to. We do have all of the heralds. One herald. Well, look at that. I missed Herald of Ash. Herald of Ash is in there now. So now you have heralds. All 3 heralds are in here. We still got Explosive Shot. That's linked with Scatter, Martial Tempo, Conduction, Fire Pen, and Fire Infusion. We have Shock Burst linked to Primal Armament, Heft, Concentrated Effect, Lightning Infusion, and Lightning Pen. We have Emergency Reload. It's been in the build since day 1. Pre-Med, Ingenuity, and Persistence. Voltaxic Mark. This is the one thing that I got out of looking at other builds and found that Voltaxic Mark is way better for what we're doing. I put that with lightning skills and mobility. You could probably change that around. Herald of Ice, we got that linked to clarity, magnified effect, and precision. This helps us with our accuracy, obviously, and our mana regen. Herald of Thunder is linked to Innervate, Ice Bite, and Glaciation. Same thing as last time. Wind Dancer, nothing's linked to it, but I'm sure you could find ways of linking something to it. We don't have the spirit. You'd have to figure out how to get your spirit up higher. So, Overwhelming Presence, same thing. It's a great boon. These all say level 20. I should probably change that. I will change that by the time I release this video. I don't have level 20 all the way down. In fact, a lot of these are not level 20. So I will fix that before I update it. I will say now that the highest level I have is explosive shot is 19 and shock burst is 19. Beyond that, just haven't upgraded them. These are also corrupted too to give 6 sockets instead of paying an exorbitant amount of money for a 6 socket jewelers. Now I believe you can get 7 sockets if you want to take the chance and corrupt a 6 socket item. Um, but that's money on your end. Have fun with that. The gear has not changed at all, except for I did get a different belt. I do not recommend uh, opting out of a charm slot. Charm slots are extremely powerful, extremely strong. I suggest highly to make sure that you get a belt with a charm slot on it. It is a suffix, by the way. This weapon also changed. It was a much higher top end damage. It shows here 409. I'm not sure why it says 409. I will show you in game that it is actually 458. Maybe it's not taking into consideration the quality. I don't know. I imported these items, so that seemed really weird that it didn't calculate that. But this is what the actual crossbow looks like in game. Real quick, I'll show you what the damage looks like. This is just sheet damage. Explosive shot has 7,500, with the explosions being about 7,000. I'm sorry, about 8,200. And our shock burst is at 9,400 with a 70,000 burst. You do really good damage against bosses. Character screen, 60% evasion and 30% armor. I think this, as I mentioned in the what you call it, the Maxroll guide, I do have a whole list of things on the left hand side to read, and it does mention that the evasion route might be the best route to go with this. There's also an issue. I'll mention it here. Right here, one of the problems that I want to make sure, I'll go into the notes section here. This is a non-weapon, or there is already a non-weapon swap build. I've already linked it over here. It's by the Maxroll guys, so take a look at that. Weapon swap points are limited to just 2. I believe you could probably mess around and kind of come up with something more entertaining with the weapon swap points, but I don't think there's a reason for it. Build uses the 3 dragons helmets and the 3 heralds. We already know this has been like that for a while. I was able to do citadels in early content. I don't think this will go up to the big daddy uber bosses. I don't think you're gonna pull it that far, but at least not with my setup. Sorcery ward is wonky. Uh, you'll see on other builds that they do use sorcery ward. For me, with the weapon swap, it actually resets the timer every time. It's really screwy, and like sometimes it'll do it, sometimes it won't. You also have to deal with the idea that whenever you take damage and then you get out of combat, it'll start recharging without really affecting you. Um, this is one of those ones where it's up to you. If you do decide to try out Sorcery Ward, you're going to take out your Decimating and your Culling Strike. This was the idea, was to go Armor Evasion. I think Pure Evasion is probably the best. It may even help with the Sorcery Ward as well. Jewel near the crossbow reload wheel, which is this wheel right here. This one right here. I have a timeless, or I'm sorry, what is it called? Time lost jewel. That one just increases the effectiveness of the evasion and armor nodes in the bottom and the reload at the top. It also happened to roll pretty good beneficial things for me, extra evasion and crossbow damage. Again, suboptimal gear. Do not look at my gear and think that that's the way you want to go. In fact, I would like to change all of that gear with what I would recommend. You want to get fizz damage, flat fizz on your rings, and you want to get just balance out your resistances and everything else. Mine have elemental damage on them that's significantly lower, but it's still going to increase your damage. In fact, my gear isn't like completely garbage in the sense that it's not going to at least do something. It does add damage, so but physical rolls are your best bet, and forlorn bases is just the all around best crossbow base. Make sure that you have plus the bolts on your explosive shot, otherwise you're going to be reloading a lot. Anointment. My anointment is actually on the tree here. My anointment is heavy ammunition. It's not terrible, but you will get a hell of a lot more damage if you go with Coming Calamity. Highly suggest looking at this. Coming Calamity, even if you're not doing the same build as me or anything like that, and you just don't come up here far enough, if you're using the triple heralds, this is the best that you can get in this build. So I do highly suggest it. However, don't do it unless you have a really good amulet. Um, Again, not a builder. This first time I've attempted to make a build. I've tweaked it, worked on it, and it functions. People like it when they come into the chat and take a look at it. So yeah, again, I'll link this in the description below. I'll also update it for the correct gem levels that I have, and yeah, hopefully the little video at the beginning to show what it looks like in a tier 16 helped you out, and looking forward to the next build. Y'all, take care.